Hello everyone, this is Amit. In this video, we'll learn top 7 file navigation tips and tricks in Visual Studio Code. As you know, Visual Studio Code is a very powerful and very popular text editor out there. If you haven't used Visual Studio Code, I'm going to link a video about how to install and set it up for the first time. And you can find the link probably on the top right corner or in the description below. So let's look at these 7 tips regarding the file navigation. So the very first is how to open any file in a folder. So let me go ahead and open my Visual Studio Code. And currently I have a folder in which I have 4 different projects, C++ project, some HTML, some JavaScript, and some Python scripts. By the way, if you don't know how to open a folder, it is pretty simple. You go to File, click Open Folder, and select your project folder. And it may ask you whether you trust that folder. So you just say you trust all the authors. And so in order to open any file in this folder that I already have open, all you have to use is right here, go to File, control+p. And so if I type Control or press Control and P, it gives me the list of files that are available in my folder. So let's say I want to open a C++ file, so I'll start typing. And you can see as I type, it narrows it down. In fact, I don't need to even start from the beginning. As long as I know just a part of that file name or even extension, it should be able to narrow it down. For example, let's say I just want to open only CPP file. Then I can just type CPP and you can see it's right here. It just highlighted the very first one. So in order to open this file, all you have to do is just click Enter. And now we just have opened a file, a C++ file in our Visual Studio Code. Let's try again. So we'll go to Control+P. This time we are going to open a Python script. So let's say py. And so right here it narrows it down to the first two, setup.py, and that is under sample codes and then a Python folder. So let's open this simple.py. And you can see it's a pretty basic, simple Python script. We'll try one more. Let's try an HTML file. Okay. So right again, it narrows it down to index.html and static.html that it found in this folder. So let's go ahead and open index.html. So it's very easy to open any file in your project folder by simply typing Control+P. Now, every time you type Control+P, it tries to show you the most frequently opened the file. So if I do Control+P, you can see that some of the files that we recently opened shows up right on the top. And so if you're working on a certain group of files, you don't even have to type. You just narrow it down by just going up or down arrow and then select those. All right. So that is the first tip. Open any file in a folder using Control+P. Now the next one is how to open multiple files in background. And the way in which you open this is using Control+P and then right arrow key. So let's go back to our Visual Studio Code and let's close these files. And let's say I want to open multiple files, so I don't want to always type Control+P and so on every time. So I can simply type Control+P. And let's say I want to open main.cpp. So instead of pressing Enter, I'll just press right arrow key. Okay. And you can see that it opened that file, but our Control+P feature is still available. So I said, well, I want to open this index.html also. So again, I am going to press right arrow key, and then I'll open some more files. Let's say this JavaScript and so on, and then maybe another Python script. So now if I press Escape, that Control+P drop down will be gone. But you can see that just in one shot, I can open all kind of files simply by just typing right arrow key instead of pressing Enter. Now if I type Enter, let's try Control+P and let's try build.js. If I press Enter, then it removes this Control+P drop down. And so that's why you cannot open more than one file. And so by just typing Control+P and right arrow key, you can open multiple files in background while still opening more files. And so this can be pretty handy when you want to open multiple files simultaneously. And so you can use this feature. All right. So the third trick is quickly list all the open file. And it's pretty easy actually. Control tab is a pretty commonly used keyboard shortcut that you can use to basically shuffle with the currently open files. So let's go back. I have 1, 2, 3, and 4 files. I can hold Control key and press tab, and you can see it shows me all 4 files that I have open. Now in this case I just have only 4 files, but in your case you may have 10, 20 or even more files. And so you can simply go up or down, or even you can keep holding Control key and press tab, and it'll go to the file. So you can quickly shuffle between the files. So for example, I'm currently at setup.py, but if I want to open index.html, I can simply just go like this, and there you go. Now it is highlighted. You can see these tabs here. And so by simply holding Control key and pressing tab, you can quickly shuffle between already open files. All right. So that is the third tip. The next one is to open a file and then go to a specific line number. And so the way in which we navigate to a specific line number is by just typing Control+P, the file name, and then double colon, and then line number. Now the usefulness of this one is if you have a file which consists of thousands of lines, you don't want to scroll down to a particular line number. Now if you get an error in your source code and you know exactly where that error occurred, then you can quickly jump to that particular line. So let's try this feature. And so I'm going to open this index.html, or actually let's close that, and let's see, maybe there was some error at line number 48. Okay, so I can do Control+P and then type index.html double colon 48, and so that will open the index.html file, and it will also move the cursor to line number 48. So let's see if it works. So press enter, and you can see the cursor is right here ready to add it your source code. And so again, if I want to try something else, let's say I do Control+P and I want to open some kind of let's open this static.html. So I'll type static.html double colon, and maybe I want to go to line number 10. And well, there is no line number 10, so but if there were, it will just go right there. Okay, so you can quickly and easily go to a specific line number or jump to a specific line number right when you open a file. And so this is a pretty cool tip that can save a lot of time scrolling up and down in your file. Now, as I said, most of the files that I have are kind of small, but if you have here is a good example. This is an header file which consists of about 600 files. And so if I want to open this file and go to line number 400, I can do admin function.h, and then just directly jump to line number 400. And you can see it not only opened that file, but it went all the way to line number 400. So it can definitely save a good amount of time as you navigate through many files over your development. All right, so that is the tip number 4. Tip number 5 is navigate using breadcrumbs. And so I don't know if you noticed, but as you open these files, right at the top, it actually tells you where this file is located. So for example, I have this admin function.h. It is under sample code, under C++, and then this file. And so if you click on any of these greater than sign, you can actually see, you can even narrow, you can even expand these to open a particular file. So for example, if I want to open a CSS file, you can see that I can open without even going to these folders, simply by using this thing called breadcrumbs. So it keeps sort of breadcrumbs so that you can quickly actually narrow it down, or you can go to the source of your file. Now it not only works with the folder, but even inside the CSS file, if you click on this arrow, Well, in this case there are not much, but let's go to maybe index.html. Okay, so if I click on this index.html and this sign right here, in fact, sorry, this one, and now you can even expand this. You can see that it consists of an header and a body tag, right? And under body you have a div tag, and then under div you have a content, and then many other stuff like a body and so on. So you can actually see as I expand, it actually goes to that particular location in the file. And so these breadcrumbs are really handy when you are quickly looking at your source code and if you want to navigate between different parts of the code. So let's go to this setup.py, and if I click on this arrow again right here, in fact it will be this one, right? So you can go to up or you can go down and so on. Again, I don't have a very complex project, so that's why it may not have that many breadcrumbs, but you have a complex sort of project, it can go quickly to that particular location. Okay, so that is how you navigate through breadcrumbs. The next part is go to definition. And so as if you have used Visual Studio or any other IDEs, you can quickly jump to a definition of a function in those tools. And so same thing can also be done in Visual Studio Code, and the way in which you do it is using function 12 key. So let's go ahead and let's open a particular file where we can jump. So let's go to CPP, and if I go down here, and here I have this function called password verification, and I'm wondering what this exactly does. So if I want to go to definition, I can just click keep my cursor there and press F12 key, and you can see it actually jump back to that particular location. Now this would work not only for the same file, but even if I have a particular definition in some other file in my project, it should jump to that one. So let's try this, and you can see that it actually from main.cpp I had these function called main menu, and when I try, in fact you can even right click actually. So right here, when you right click and go to definition, you can see it actually is under admin function.h. So it opened that particular definition. So you can quickly take a look and go back and continue. And so just like any other IDEs, you can quickly go to definition in all the languages that it supports. And then finally, you can also jump to different symbols in your file by using control+shift-O. Okay, so let's go back and let's go to, let's be here in admin function, and if I press control+shift-O, it gives me all the different symbols in this particular header file. And so I can quickly navigate by just going to down arrow or up arrow. And as I go up and down, you can see that the cursor also moves to that particular place. So let's say I want to go to the add data. So I scroll down to add data, press enter, and I'm right there. So it is again very, very quick and easy way to just jump to a particular symbol. So again, the keyboard shortcut is control+shift-O, and you go up and down arrow. Let's open this student function, and it's right there. And so we looked into many different tips and tricks regarding file navigation. We just learned how to open a file, how to open multiple files, how to quickly navigate between the open files. We also learned how we can open the file as well as go to a specific line numbers. We learned how to use breadcrumbs. We also learned how to go to a particular definition of a function, and then we also learned how to navigate using two different symbols and the file. And so I hope you learned something new in this video. If you did, please click on the like button. And if you like the content of this video, please check out my channel. I have many videos about Visual Studio Code and other text editor. And if you like the content, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you very much.